Hello everyone, and welcome to the Tarot with Titania reading of the week for May 9th to the 16th, 2025. If you're new here, you're most welcome. If you've been coming for a while, you're also very welcome. I'm grateful that you are joining your energies to mine and that we can co-create these readings for our personal and our collective highest and greatest good. And with that, I invite you to close your eyes and let's set the tone for the reading. Pulling in the breath 3 times. Getting into sync across time and space. And with that third exhale, I invite you to imagine a tree root coming down out of the base of your spine, going down deep into Mother Earth and grounding you here and now in this present moment, knowing that this tree root is not only anchoring you and allowing you to be fully here now, but it is also providing you with a conduit through which anything that no longer serves you can easily pass down into Mother Earth and become compost for your new good growth. Creator, this is your daughter Titania, and I'm here with all of your children, about to do the reading of the week for May 9th to the 16th, 2025. My intention is to be a clear channel for the information we most need to receive right now, and to provide this in a manner that we will easily and effortlessly hear, understand, and integrate for our personal and our collective highest and greatest good. I'd also like to invite my higher self and the higher selves of all those listening, as well as an overlighting angel of communication, to be present and facilitate this exchange, ensuring that it happens in the highest and best way possible, and that we cover all that is in our personal and our collective heart and mind at this time to our satisfaction in this window that we have together here today. I'd like to invite the 4 archangels to come and hold the 4 directions around us, creating a sacred container of love and light and wisdom and clarity and healing and transformation across time and space, holding us all in this gorgeous circle of light and energy. I invite Raphael to hold the east, Michael to hold the south, Gabriel to hold the west, and Uriel to hold the north. Thank you for coming. Anything that doesn't match these frequencies and intentions is welcome to go now. Okay, and here we go. Let's get into the reading, shall we? What is it that we most need to know this week, Creator, for our personal and our collective highest and greatest good, so we can do what we're here to do and do it to the best of our ability and thrive and love our lives in the process. Okay. So, Creator, for the week of May 9th to the 16th, what is it that we most need to know for our good and the good of everyone whose life we touch and this beautiful world we call home? Okay, so starting with the Death card. And if you've been following this channel for a while, you know that the Death card, although it can signify physical end, more often than not, it signifies radical endings. The kind that one experiences with a death, with that completion, that closure, that kind of ending. This is sitting in the recent past, or the position of the past, which means that this is information and energy from our past that's relevant now, in our present and in our future. This is part of our learning, part of our growth, part of our understanding as individuals, things that we have come to know that is relevant now. So this idea of radical transformation, of things ending, of being thoroughly done, of that being the door closing, this is the quality of this energy, but always remembering, and from our own experience, we know it's always the beginning of something new. So death is never the end. Death is simply a stepping stone to new life, to new beginnings, to new opportunities. And this card is no different. This reading this week, we're starting from this energy of radical endings and new beginnings. And what does that feel like? What radical beginnings are we seeking? What is it that we want to experience? It's a major arcana, so of course, soul growth. And here we have the 2 of Pentacles, the card of change. So that's very interesting that we would have the death card and then the change card right after it. So this energy of change, of things being very different than what they were. The shedding of the skin and these snakes in this card. I don't know if you can see those, but we have a couple of snakes, and that's that reminder of the shedding of the old, of what no longer serves us, and just letting that go. In a way, it is sort of a being born again, I'm sure, for the snake to a certain extent, because it emerges from that old skin with fresh new skin that must feel so sensitive to the air. But this quality of change, and this is change on the material level, because it's pentacles, it's the earth element, it's that element that has everything to do with being in a body, and how great it is to have a body, to be able to breathe and taste and smell and feel and be moving here in the world at this time on the planet. So this energy of change, big change. Near future, the direction of that change, the King of Swords. So kings and queens represent their element, the maturation of their element. They really get their the qualities of air in this case. So the King of Swords is this masculine energy, which is more linear, it's more planned, it's more intentional, it's more rational, it's more deliberate, it's more sequential events, having a plan, working the plan, that kind of a thing. This is the energy we're moving into, this sort of a more structured way of being, a more structured approach to how we are living our lives. And this, it's interesting because, of course, air has to do with technology. It has to do with there's that energy of Aquarius. It's one of the astrological signs that are associated with the air sign. So this energy feels very structured and very, as I said, almost like that technology kind of quality of sequential and rational and linear. So we're moving, the things are ending, things are changing, and we're moving into this experience. Now this, I don't want you to think that this is an absolute, because of course we are here creating our experience in every moment. But for this next little while, it feels like being really non-emotional. Being detached and practical is going to be helping us to get to where we need to be, get us the things done that we need to do. So let's see what this card says. And the foundation card, why we're having the reading this week, is the card of celebration, the Three of Hearts. So if we're looking for that sort of more feminine emotional quality, here it is in the foundation position. So why we're having the reading this week, this energy of celebration, of emotion, of feeling. But it's jubilant feeling. It's celebrating life, celebrating where we come from, celebrating the endings, because with endings come new beginnings. And although endings can be very difficult, at the same time they liberate us and they move us forward powerfully in new directions. And the celebration of this, all of it, is for us. Everything is in service to our evolution at this time. And, we can work with it, or we can resist it. We have that option. Humans are great that way. We are the creators of our reality. We are powerful beyond our understanding, and we can, have a hissy fit and kick our heels up and say, no, I'm not going with this. I'm not doing this. But what this card is saying is that there's so much to celebrate. We need to come home to ourselves and understand that these changes that we are going through personally and collectively are really for our good. They're moving us in new directions. We're shedding the old. That it's so symbolic of what no longer serves us. And that's where humanity stands collectively. And going forward, I'm not saying we're going to be wrapped up in technology, but it's going to be part of where we are now for this next little while. And I sort of feel, and others have mentioned it as well, that the technology that we're coming into, this AI and everything else that we're seeing, is a trigger for our own deeper capacity, our own capacity to be far more aware and knowledgeable and connected and aligned with our wisdom, the broader, wiser parts of us that we as humanity just haven't seen, certainly not very often at this point in our evolution. But that we're moving towards this, and this technology. It's just like you can't dream something until you get the seeds planted in your consciousness. And that's what this feels like. This is seeds that are being planted in the collective consciousness that help us to realize what we can do. They couldn't run a 1-minute mile until they did. And then many people have done it since. Same kind of idea for us as humanity. The possibility, grasping the possibility. What could we do? And then from that place, we bloom, we blossom. But we've got to have the new ideas. And that's what Swords is all about. It's ideas in action. New ideas for us to take action on. But with the King, as I said, it's structured and it's planned and it's evolving in a very deliberate manner. So no faffing around. And then this card, of course, is the celebratory card, that all of this is good and it's all to be celebrated, even the hard stuff, because the hard stuff especially teaches us what we want. We know what we want when we know what we don't want. That's the gift of the challenge of life, being in these human bodies and having the experiences that we have. As a result of that, we get really clear about what we prefer. We know what we want when we know what we don't want. So this card is reminding us to celebrate that this is for us, to be aware of it and be in celebration, even as we make these steps, even as we go through these changes, even as we take these very practical steps. It's all in service of our good to be celebrated. So we may see more of this kind of quality of energy, of changes, of endings, of movement towards something new, of shedding the old, of letting things go that no longer serve us, of freeing ourselves so that we can show up in a new way, to be open to new ideas and be able to take new action. Letting go of the old and moving forward in celebration. Let celebration be the underlying foundation for this week. Coming at everything from that place of gratitude and appreciation, because of course that's one way to celebrate something, isn't it? Is to feel so grateful for it. And let that underlying energy filter through into everything else, so that even if you don't know where anything is going, be grateful for the opportunity that there is change and that there is an opening happening, that you are shedding the old and that new ideas are coming your way that you'll be able to implement and follow with great practicality and rationality and effectiveness, because it's very efficient and very practical on that level. And I think it's going, like it all, right? It serves us. It really does. We may have an inability to see it. But if we get to that higher level, we get to that eagle's perch, as Pam Gregory likes to talk about, that ability for us to create some space, to get out of our little human minds and into the broader, wiser part of ourselves and look at our lives from that broader lens. It's so nourishing for us to create that space so that we can begin to see the wisdom in the experiences, see why they're showing up in our field and what the gift is in them. Okay, and with that, let's see what our card to grow on is. So, death, change, King of Wands, Three of Hearts, celebration, thank you. Okay, so Creator, to summarize this energy so that we can be at our most effective in understanding it and integrating it for our good and the good of everyone around us, please send us the perfect card to grow on. In service to our best, please. Okay. New beginnings on the level of the material, the earth element. So here we are once again, this idea, like change, new beginnings, fresh starts, this kind of quality of energy. It's very interesting. We have 3 cards sort of relating to that fresh starts or new beginnings or changes happening. So this card, has to do with this change for us materially. How is that going to look? What's it going to look like? Who are we going to be? And how is that going to unfold? And so this week, as we go forward, being curious about what is this new list going to look like? What would we want if we could pull anything in? What would we want to be experiencing? How would it look? How would it feel? Again, from that lens of celebration, of gratitude, of appreciation. Our life to this point has provided us with magnificent contrast and information for us to know our preferences from. And when we come from that underlying energy that everything is for us and we're understanding it, our frequency is very different in terms of what we want to pull in that's fresh and new. So it's important to have that energy underlaying our flow, if you want to call it, our energetic state, that gratitude, appreciation, celebration, that life is for us and it's all working for us and everything is really taking us where we want to go. And this card to grow on this week is really focusing on what is that new beginning going to be like? What will it smell like? What will it feel like? What will it taste like? What will it be like to be ourselves in that new world or that new experience of ourselves? That's the point of attraction. It comes from that embodied sensory depth rather than a more superficial mental kind of a thing. So for us this week, what do we want to create? What is that change going to look like? What do we want it to look like? How do we want to be? And I know it can be difficult sometimes to have that visualization. It's like we can't get there till we have the insight or the distinctions. So being open to the distinctions, open to the new ideas, open to the wisdom, so that as it comes towards us, as we distinguish it, and we can do that from that place of gratitude, so grateful for all the wisdom and the insight that's coming our way. So grateful for the distinctions we've already had that have brought us to our now moment. And going forward, we will have more, because that's the beautiful, brilliant thing about humanity. We have desire, that purified desire within us, and that desire thrust that pushes us into life, continually seeking more, to experience more, to draw through more, to be happier, to be more fulfilled, to be more content, to have all of that satisfaction and that glory of being in the world, doing our life thing and doing it well. That is our constant as humanity. That's life calling to more life through us. And that's the life force. That's the vital force that animates each and every one of us, calling to itself, saying, hey, over here, come over here. It's going to be good. Keep living, keep desiring, keep wanting. Because that's how life continues to progress and evolve. And we need to just remember that these new beginnings or these desires that we have, they're not wrong or bad in and of themselves. They are part of that expansion energy that we are all part of, that each of us is a unique expression of. And how do we answer that desire positively in a way that nourishes us and those around us? Purified desire. Not just the quelling of it on that animal nature, which is a human thing to do because we have human bodies. We are animals, evolved animals, but animals nevertheless. We have our appetites. But how do we satisfy our desires at that higher level? Answering our needs, but also taking us further in our own evolution, our own ability to be who we're here to be. And that's all sort of in this card this week, this from a deep place of gratitude and appreciation, dreaming the dream of the new beginnings, this fresh beginning, this fresh new life. What will it look like? And how will we feel in that new life? And when we spend time contemplating that, we get familiar with that energy. We get to hang out there. And when we are familiar with the energy, we recognize cooperative components as they come. We recognize energy that resonates with it. And that's why it's so important to do. And that's why it's important to give ourselves permission to have vision boards and to make our master lists and get clear about what our desires are, because that familiarity of energy is what makes it easy for us to pull it towards us and to take steps towards those things that are in alignment with it. I hope that's helpful. So, Princess of Pentacles, new beginnings, fresh starts. If you were a young woman who wanted to have a family, it could mean a baby. That kind of quality of new life, fresh beginnings. Okay, and with that, I invite you to take that nice deep breath back to yourself, home to yourself, trusting that you've received exactly what you need for this week. It's allowing you to clarify and be more yourself, aware of these openings and these endings, understanding the perfection of that to create room for the new, and trusting that you will know exactly what you need to do and how you need to be as you move towards more love and life and celebration in a very practical and linear kind of way for the next little while. Shedding the old, exploring new, fresh beginnings. I encourage everyone to dream into their future. What will it look like? What would you like it to look like? What elements does it have to have? Joy, celebration, pleasure, community, family. What beautiful things do you want to experience and grow into? Getting clear about that picture is going to help all of us because we're co-creating this world together. The new directions we're going in are being done by all of us. So our good work on these things together here with these readings and in our own personal world and with each other and at the level of humanity is really truly in service to all of our good. So thank you for doing your part. I appreciate you. And with that, I want to thank all those who helped to hold this space today. Thank you, Creator, for this opportunity to come together, to bring our energy together, and to line up in the best way possible for our continued unfolding, unfurling of our good, of our best showing up, of our highest celebration of this glorious life experience. We thank you for these amazing bodies, and we thank you for all that we are receiving so that we can move powerfully forward in the world and make our contributions in beautiful ways. I wish you a beautiful week, and I will look forward to seeing you next Friday. In the meantime, much love and light and celebration of joyful unfolding. And if you know what you're excited about, you could put it down below. I love to hear how people are inspired as they're moving forward in the world, because it is a weird time. And so the more of us who can get excited, the better. And it doesn't have to be a collective excitement. It can just be personal. That's okay too. Be excited about your own life. In fact, that's the best way forward. Because as we move forward into our yes, into our beautiful, highest expression of our glorious life, we create an energy and a momentum that affects all those around us, essentially giving them permission to do the same thing. And that builds a fabulous, gorgeous momentum collectively for the field of humanity. So your happiness, your thriving, serves all of us. So thank you for doing it. Much love and light, everybody. We'll see you next Friday. Bye for now.